What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Metalcore Nerds podcast. I am Sean Mott, your host, and my co-host for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier after show, Billy Sweet.
Hello.
What is up?
What is up, my dude?
Just Sunday. I started watching this. I finished The Walking Dead. I caught up right as the season's finale aired.
Yeah.
Insane episode, by the way. I know everyone hates The Walking Dead, but I don't know, man. This episode was nuts. But I started watching this documentary on Netflix called Last Chance U, and they have a basketball one. I'm a sucker for basketball shit. I don't know. I played as a kid. My grandma used to work for the Yukon Huskies as a seamstress. So I grew up with basketball. I played in high school and everything. So I'm a sucker for basketball movies, basketball documentaries. I don't know. I just love it.
Did you ever watch?
I have 6 minutes less. No, actually, I watched the OC. I was an OC guy.
If you love basketball, you'll like One Tree Hill because basketball is pretty much sort of the center of that too. But anyways, continue.
Fair enough. I have 6 minutes left of the last episode of Last Chance U.
Okay.
It's pretty much this junior college in LA, and it's all these kids who were in bad circumstances, and this is the school they go to so they get so they can get a scholarship for a Division I team.
Right.
It's just awesome. It's such a cool story. It's awesome. Yeah. If you like basketball, go watch it, I guess. I don't know. No one that listens to this likes basketball, but
I mean, I like basketball, sort of. One of my favorite basketball movies is Space Jam, but
fair.
But no,
that's fair.
No. Totally true. I just started watching Arrested Development, by the way. Great show.
Ooh, amazing.
Did you know?
Russo Brothers.
Yeah, dude. The first episode, well, I'm on episode 3 right now. Joe and Anthony both did episode 1, and then one of them did episode 2, and then one of them did episode 3, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this how they got their start?
Yeah, pretty much. It was that and then Community.
I knew about Community already.
They did the paintball episode of Community. I'm pretty sure got them the job at Marvel. I'm pretty positive.
Really?
Yeah, but crazy Arrested Development Easter eggs in the MCU.
Yeah,
in Civil War. You see the ladder car.
To say that.
And then in Infinity War, when they go to intercept Thanos at the Collector's vault, you see Blue Man, fucking what's his name, the brother, in one of the tanks.
David Cross. Yeah, Tobias. Yeah,
Tobias.
No, because I watched a video pretty recently about how there's Arrested Development Easter eggs in Civil War and in Infinity War. Literally the ones you just said they mentioned, and I go, dude, what the fuck? Yeah. They did Arrested Development. That's so wild to go from that to Avengers Endgame and Civil War and the Winter Soldier and shit. I'm like, what a leap, But
dude, it's crazy too. The director who directed all the episodes for WandaVision, he's done a majority of the Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No fucking kidding.
Episodes. He did the fucking Nightman Cometh and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's done he did a few episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yes,
He's the man.
That.
But yeah, I was looking up what he's done before, and I was like, yo, he's done so many episodes of It's Always Sunny. A lot, 40 or 60. It was between the 40 and 60 range. So a lot of episodes.
That's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah,
I love the
really
diversity. Cool. I love the diversity of the different types of genres they'll do. I love that. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. That's why I love that they're bringing in these new directors like Chloe Zhao, who just did No Man Land, and Nia DaCosta, who did who's doing the Candyman movie that's coming out eventually. I don't know. It looks fucking amazing. So it's cool. It's cool to see. I mean, obviously, James Gunn was a indie horror director, and Ryan Coogler didn't really do much. He did Creed and I think Fruitvale Station or something, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then came and did Black Panther and shit. It's sick.
I think James Gunn. I think he directed one of the Scooby-Doo movies.
He has a writing credit.
Writing credit. Okay, excuse me. I
think he has writing credit on both Scooby-Doos.
I'm on the right track.
The 2000s ones. I think he did writing on both of them. The first one and the sequel.
Yeah,
Wild.
literally, he wrote. He did this. He did this. He. It was written by him, Scooby Doo 2, and the first one, screenplay and story. And apparently, he was uncredited for 13 Ghosts, and he did the screenplay for the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead, which I thought is fucking sick.
Yep, it's very, very, very fucking cool.
What a tangent, by the way. Anyways,
that's all right. We're just talking about what we were doing this week. It's fine. Just catching up.
Yeah. We don't really get to hang out much.
Yeah, you know.
So you're on the other side of the world, but that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So again, kind of hard to talk about this one without spoiling anything because a lot fucking happens in this episode. Like a fucking lot. It's crazy because my wife Sam, she loves the MCU, but it takes a lot for her to get excited about things. And it's crazy because episode 4 in both series, WandaVision and this series, were both the episodes where she's like, okay, this is fucking insane. Let's fucking go. Yeah.
I agree.
Like the blip scene in episode 4, she was screaming. She was like, "What the fuck? Did you know this was happening?" I'm like, "No, I didn't know this was happening." Like, I was like, "Come on."
You're talking about WandaVision. Yeah. No, that one was pretty nuts, dude. That one was pretty nuts.
Yeah, insane. So, spoiler warning for episode 4, titled "The Whole World Is Watching." As soon as this title came out, I was like, "Some shit's gonna go down this episode."
Oh yeah,
and it did. So, spoiler warning, last chance. We're gonna talk about the whole fucking thing. So, it starts off 6 years ago in Wakanda. You see Ao and Bucky. And he's like, "Do you think this is going to work? I don't know if we should do this." And she goes off listing the Winter Soldier trigger words. And as she's saying the words, certain words trigger certain flashbacks for Bucky. The one that really caught me is when she said homecoming, that it was the scene from Winter Soldier where Bucky was about to like kill Steve. And he says, "I'm with you to the end of the line." And he realized like, no, this is my best friend. Like, what am I doing? I thought that was an insanely cool flashback scene in there. And she gets through it all and he doesn't, nothing happens. And she says, "You're free." And he like looks up at her being like, "What do you mean?" And she says, "You're free again." And he's crying. And dude, this scene.
Powerful.
Dude, Bucky is the heart of this fucking show. I don't care what anyone says. I think Sam is like the soul and the backbone of this show.
Yeah.
And Bucky is the heart, dude. He is just killing me every episode, dude. I watched there's this YouTube channel called The Real Rejects, and they do like watch alongs of like almost every fucking show ever. So I usually watch it's like a cool recap for me because I can watch them react to it and I get like the gist of the episode again. And
check that out. Yeah.
This scene playing again, I was like tearing up, dude. I was like, this is so amazing. Sebastian Stan in this fucking scene, like, fuck yes.
I was just about to say the dude. Okay, this scene, I was fighting back tears for sure because Sebastian Stan's performance was out of this world, dude. He nailed this scene so incredibly well. Like, if this doesn't solidify him as like a powerhouse actor, I don't know what will.
Straight up.
Yeah,
I'm sick of people saying
like. So sorry. I think that scene just his acting chops like really got to shine through, and I think I know where you're going with this. How people are saying that these superhero shows, like the acting in it isn't that great, and I'm like, dude, did you not just see like this scene we're just talking about? That is one of the most well acted scenes I've ever watched in Marvel.
Yeah,
or in
so many scenes
in general.
Yeah. So many scenes in WandaVision was the same thing. Like, unbelievable.
Dude. Oh yeah,
unbelievable. Like Tony Stark not getting nominated for a supporting actor for Endgame is like a crime.
No.
Because even that scene where he comes back to space, he'd be supporting.
Okay.
Because no one's really a lead in that movie. It would all be supporting. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But he should have gotten fucking nominated for that because it was incredible, unbelievable.
Didn't we talk about this in one of the other episodes when like him and Steve Rogers had that back and forth, like when he was like, you said we would lose together, and where were you? Like you weren't there. Like holy shit, yeah, for sure. And like the ending of Endgame, just like with the like, oh my god, dude, like just he was completely robbed. Bullshit.
So I agree.
Yeah,
but
good.
Moving on, we go right back into where we left off last episode, and Ao's obviously upset with Bucky that they broke Zemo out, and in fucking Wakandan, Bucky can speak Wakandan. Dude's fucking could speak every fucking language, I guess, and he says Romanian, he's a means to an he's a means to an end, and Ao pretty much says, "Hey, you have 8 hours." 8 hours with him, and then we're coming to get him. Pretty much. And then he goes right back in, and he wasted no time. He's like, "Yep, Wakanda's here for Zemo." I love how nonchalantly he's just like, "Yeah, Wakanda's here, Zemo. They're coming for you." So,
I would have thought he would have been like, he would have kept that part of secret. Like, I thought
right.
Honestly, I was just Zemo just was unfazed by it. He's like, yeah, no, I can see it. No, for sure.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. He knows what he did,
Oh yeah.
He's fully aware.
He only have murdered their king, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they have this very interesting conversation about, and it's crazy because this stems back to like the formation of comics and Superman and Captain America, and this ideal of anyone with power can lead to like a supremacist type of view and type of outlook and everything like that. Pretty much saying Karli is a supremacist herself, and Sam's like, no, she has good intentions. Maybe the way she's doing it isn't the right way, but where she's coming from isn't wrong. She has justified reasoning for this. And I love how Zemo says, power leads to things like the Nazis, Ultron, the Avengers. And they said, well, Steve wasn't corrupted by the super soldier serum. And Zemo says, touche. But there hasn't been another Steve Rogers, has there? Which is a very interesting line, because technically there is 2 Steve Rogers. Because he did go back in time and create an alternate timeline. And Old Man Cap technically is an alternate universe Cap in a way. So it was a weird, and you see Sam kind of going like, he gives this really interesting look, and I don't really think they'll explore that anymore.
I don't think so either.
But it was a very, very cool back and forth, and they're pretty much setting out to get more information on Donya Madani and the Flag Smashers to kind of intercept them and, see where they're going. And Zemo's just like, yeah, I won't get in your guys' way. Don't worry about it. And he tricks a bunch of kids with Turkish Delights, which I've heard from anyone who says they've had them that they're terrible. I've never had one, so I can't really give any insight into that one. But I guess when you're a poor kid in a country, you'll take whatever you can get, He tricks them to get more information on the funeral. And obviously Zemo is keeping it to himself because, Zemo being Zemo. Also, shout out to the Zemo cut getting released today. Weird side tangent, but it's glorious.
The what is
glorious.
It?
The actor had Daniel Bruhl had an interview, and he's like, "Oh, actually, there's more footage of me dancing." I didn't even think any. And they posted that video, the extended clip of him dancing. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay. I gotta find that. That's funny.
It's amazing. It's incredible. It's in the group. It's kind of funny. It's kind of the Zemo cut is been released. It didn't take 4 years, so
took 4 hours.
Yeah, it took about 4 days or something.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll have to look that up.
Yep. So they go back to their base, or Zemo's apartment, or whatever the fuck it is. They don't really explain that. He's just like, I have a place. So I'm guessing it's one of his houses because he's fuck you rich. Super would make sense. Yeah. And they're kind of talking about how during the blip, that, you know, all these borders opened up and people were just helping each other. It didn't matter where you were from, what you were doing. You know, people who didn't have jobs got jobs. It was all everyone just trying to rebuild. And then, you know, with a literal snap of the fingers, everyone's just back and everything's back to normal. And everyone's like, oh, yep, you're homeless again. You know, you don't live here. These people live here. You know, this is their house and shit like that. So again, it's more into like the Karli thing. He's like, Karli isn't a terrorist. She has the right ideas. She's just not executing them.
She's a revolutionary. She's a revolutionary. Yep.
Yep. And then Zemo's obviously pushing Bucky's buttons. And I love the head tilt comment. He's like, he's just trying to get under your skin. And he's going to do the stupid head tilt. And I love how he fixed his head and straightened his head. That was a great touch.
Yeah.
Sam calls Sharon to get Sharon's help. She says she has some satellites, so they're going to help track Walker and keep an extra eye on everything, so they have an extra set of hands. And they go out to intercept the Flag Smashers at Madani's funeral. And then, of course, John Walker and Lamar Haskins are right there to intercept them. And it's so funny. You can even see in the background, like, people with their phones out recording him, because he's in full fucking Captain America gear, and people know him, as you see later. People know him by his face anyway. So he's all over the news on Good Morning America. Like, of course, people know he's famous. He's a celebrity. Yeah. And they're pretty much like, well, we're tagging along, so deal with it. Yeah. But before we move on to this next part, is there anything that you want to say before I get into like their kind of the full interaction with Sam and John Walker?
No. I mean, just no. I think everything you've said, spot on. I agree. Everything's great. Moving forward.
Yeah, and then Sam and John Walker get into this altercation. John, obviously, he has a very hard time with control, and Sam's like, "Hey, like, this is what I used to do. I used to talk to, you know, veterans with PTSD. Like, let me go in there. Right. Like, I can handle the situation by myself. Let me go in there by myself." And you know, he kind of lets it go, and they go in there, and then you see Karli. Before we get into the funeral, Karli's talking with another character, Nico, another Flag Smasher. And you see her bring out the super soldier serum that they have. It's very interesting because there's only 7 vials, I think, or 7 or 8. But they said they stole 20, and there's only like 5 or 6 of them. There's some unaccounted for vials, I think. Unless there's just other Flag Smashers we don't know about, which is possible. Or we haven't seen all of them, because we kind of see almost like a new Flag Smasher every episode kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of these people aren't, you know, like full-fledged characters like Karli. I do love how they're getting into this, and, you know, Nico's talking about how, you know, I used to look up to Captain America when I was a kid, and I didn't really think anyone could be a Captain America type figure until I met you talking about Karli, because, you know, she's fighting for the people, kind of like what Steve did. And then it's, you know, you see her talking at the funeral, and we kind of get that, like we were talking about last episode, like, oh, I hope we get a little more of this Madani story. We kind of figured that, you know, she kind of took them all in and was kind of the inspiration for the Flag Smashers, and she was the one who kind of helped all these kids when they needed help. So we got confirmation of that. And I guess she died of tuberculosis. That's what Nagel said last episode.
Okay.
Also, a little more insight onto that. How a bunch of the storyline got cut and switched around with the Flag Smasher part. Apparently, it was supposed to be a virus type storyline, and I'm guessing they nixed that completely because of the current situation. They probably didn't want to do a straight up virus storyline when there's a virus happening. You know. So the vaccinations in the beginning might have been actual vaccinations and not the super soldier serum. Maybe. It's hard to tell because obviously stuff's edited differently and they did reshoots to make it work, which I'm not saying it's not working. It's still working for me, at least.
Yeah, totally.
But, you know, you have to adapt. It kind of happens in normal shows anyway. You know, you film everything and then you have to edit what you have. You know, some stuff gets changed out and everything like that. So
absolutely,
you know, it's kind of normal, even though in an unnormal circumstance.
Yeah.
And then we see this awesome conversation of Sam and Karli talking, And it's funny how they start off like on opposite sides, and then as they talk more, they're like, sitting next to each other almost. Like Sam's leaning against the table and she's sitting on it, and him pretty much being like, "Hey, like I get where you're coming from, but the way you're doing it is not the right idea." She's like, "People think you're a supremacist," and she's like, "I'm fighting against the supremacists," and it's crazy because it's again, this show is so topical to what's going on. Like, obviously, you have to fight for the people and everything like that, but you can't go about it in a super extreme way because then you're kind of just being like the people you're fighting against. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I agree with that. Totally. It's kind of like, I don't want to compare the two. Like, I don't want to compare Karli Morgenthau to Thanos, but like when you realize what Thanos' motive is, you're not like agreeing with Thanos, but you're like, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. And that's the same thing with Karli. It's like, she's just, like I said before, she's a revolutionary. She coins herself as a revolutionary, the Flag Smashers being a revolutionary. And I get it. Would I blow up buildings? Would I do, the shit that they're doing? No, I wouldn't. But I get where she's coming from. And I don't know if I agree with it 100%, but I do get where she's coming from. Yes.
Right. Exactly. She has the right mindset. It's just killing innocent bystanders.
Right.
Not the right way to go about it.
Not the right way to go about it. Not at all. Not at all.
And then I love how John Walker handcuffs Zemo to like this weird
the boiler
the boiler. And you see John Walker. Wyatt Russell does such a great job in this episode showing like ticks. And like him, you see him like he's losing it. He's fucking losing it. But he does it in such like a subtle way. He's like, like grabbing his head, like his head hurts, and like twitching, like he can't just fucking stand still.
He's just so pissed that he just can't do something because he's not like he's just so it's like with this guy, it seems like he's a fucking my way or the highway type deal, and he just can't do what he sets out, what he wants to do, and that makes me so happy. I'm just like, you fucking sit back for 10 minutes and let Sam do his shit, dude. Like, because we know Sam and Bucky can do this shit. And this guy, this fucking John Walker dude, is just getting in the fucking way. It's just like, dude, take a back seat. We got this, bro. Like, just chill out. And like, it's just so great to just see him just be like, and like at home, I'm just like, yeah, that's right. Fuck you. You're not Captain America. Fuck you, dude. Just sit down, dude. Okay, sorry. That was enough. No, enough.
You're fine, dude. I do love how he goes up to Bucky and Bucky's like, no, chill. Like, Sam's got this. And then he says, he's like, do you want your partner's blood on your hands? And I know that bothered Bucky because Bucky doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Of course. As much as they're like, like, oh, we're not coworkers or whatever, like he still cares about Sam. He's not going to let Sam die.
Which I find very. I found that kind of a little bit like disturbing. A little bit. The fact that he was like, "We're not partners." It's like, if you're not partners, then what the fuck are you? Like, what do you? I don't understand that. Like, what do you call everything you guys have gone through before this? Like, you've not made like, what do you mean you're not partners? What is this then? Like, to me, that just was like, maybe disturbing is not the right word, but it definitely was a little bit like, I didn't personally like the way he said that. I was just like, maybe, I don't know. Hopefully that will be rectified in the next 2 episodes where he'll be like,
I think
like they'll have that typical action movie scene where it's like, partner. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping that's what will happen.
We're definitely going to get that by the end. I think that's like the whole point of the show is that they've kind of been frenemies in a way. I feel like even frenemies is a little too harsh because they care about each other, but they're all still, we've talked about this before about how it's all about identity and they're not sure where their place is in this world. And they're both just kind of like, this has to deal with super soldiers. This has to deal with the legacy of Steve, which they were both very close with. So they both need to do it because of Steve and stuff like that. So it's kind of like they have to work together. And Bucky kind of is refusing to be like, oh yeah, we're a team. You know what I mean? But I think in the end, they'll both realize that they can help each other and be better together than apart. You know?
Yeah.
I definitely think we'll get there. And then what John Walker said to Bucky is probably what made him let John Walker go. And John Walker, you know, busts in. He's like, you're under arrest, Karli, which I don't know why the fuck he thought that was going to work. But obviously starts this crazy chase/brawl throughout this compound. We see that Zemo escapes. Karli's running away, and then Zemo intercepts Karli, shoots her, which, I mean, I expect that from Zemo. Like he said, he's very against people with this kind of power. And he sees the super soldier serum dropped all over the ground. He starts smashing all of it because, again, he wants none of this shit. That's why I killed all the Winter Soldiers in Civil War. Like, he doesn't want any of this shit. Like, and I like that he's, you know, sticking to his ideals. Like, he does not sway, you know, whatever. Like, he is very about what he's about. And I love that they're keeping that with this character. And then John Walker fucking duffs him with the shield. Insane. Oh, yeah. Like, I was like, fuck, dude. And he finds one vial and puts it in his little pouch.
Yep.
And we all knew what was going to happen from there.
Yes. Yes, sir. And we did.
Whew. So we go back to the spot, Zemo's spot. And, you know, John's trying to assert his fucking dominance again, saying, like, we're taking Zemo in. And I love that Sam says, the only thing, you may be holding that shield, but the only thing you're running in here is your mouth. Love that. Loved it. And then John's like, oh, how do you really think this is going to go? Do you want me to put down the shield and make it fair for you? And even Lamar, when he said that, gave him a look like, bro, what the fuck? You know, like, what are you doing?
Right.
So he puts it down, and then boom, vibranium spear. The fucking Dora Milaje is here. And wow, this fight sequence is wild. If anyone doesn't know, the Dora Milaje is probably the most fierce, like, fighting squad on Earth.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Like, even Black Panther himself knows that he can't fuck with these people. He can't fuck with this group. You know? Like, he is there. That's his royal guard, but, like, you don't fuck with that. And I love how John Walker, you know, just gave more fuel to fire of like, wow, this dude's a fucking douche. Of him be like, hey, John Walker, Captain America. Oh yeah, I love that Io says wherever the Dora Milaje is, we have jurisdiction
pretty much.
Yeah. I was like, fuck yes, dude.
I was like, that's fucking right, dude. Tell that motherfucker what. You're in jurisdiction here. Shut up, dude.
Dude, and just the way they fucking fought like the spear that was stuck in the pillar. They kicked John into it. They ended up, you know, trapping his shield.
Dude,
it was so dope. I love how Bucky is like, looking strong, John. That was my favorite. That was my fucking favorite. And obviously, Sam and Bucky get involved so they don't get fucking killed, because they probably would have. And Zemo sneaks out. Of course. Of course he sneaks out. And as Sam and Bucky are intervening, fucking Ao fucking hits the fucking cheat code on his arm, and his arm just fucking falls to the ground, which I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was insane. It's like,
whoa.
I saw a meme the day after with the scene in Toy Story when Buzz Lightyear tried to fly and he was on the ground and his arm was off and he was like like that.
Oh my god.
Literally was the exact same thing. And I'm like, this needs to stop. That's gotta stop.
Hell yeah.
But so fucking funny. So fucking funny. I thought that was interesting really funny because it's interesting because I always wondered, I'm like, okay, is like the vibranium arm, like obviously in the after credit scene of Black Panther was the first time I saw Bucky without his arm. So I was just like, oh, okay, so it is an arm that can detach. But I'm like, but how does it detach? And now I finally got to see it how it was. Oh, it was almost kind of not gross, but like the way he put it back on, it was like a little bit like made me like queasy a little bit. I know that sounds
It's
really
like
stupid.
It's like body horror, you know,
But like
in a
this
way.
thing was like, oh, and then it like just like comes on. I'm just like, ugh. But I still thought it was pretty cool. It was fucking sick. Regardless, it was still really cool.
And when she does that, she says, what does she say? I wrote the notes. She says, "Bast, damn you, James," which Bast is the Wakandan panther deity that Wakandans like worship and shit like that.
I was
it's like saying God. It's like saying God damn you, but
right. I was
Wakanda.
Wondering what she was saying. I literally rewound that scene 4 different times, and I'm like, all right, I'm putting on the fucking subtitles, and then the subtitle says speaking in Wakandan, and I'm like, damn it, what is she saying, bro? And now you just said it, so thank you for
you're welcome.
Thank you for curing my 2-day anxiety attack on that.
And then like, after that, I don't
miss anything, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then after that, we see John Walker just completely distraught and defeated, and he just goes, "And they weren't even super soldiers."
Mm-hmm. That's right, motherfucker. You don't have to be a super soldier to be that strong. Fuck.
Yep. And I do love. I don't remember when this happened in the episode, but Zemo asked. I think it was right before the Dora Milaje came. And Zemo asked, "Were you ever offered the super soldier serum to Sam?"
Yeah, it was like
and Sam
literally right before.
And Sam, and Sam's like, "No," and he's like, "Would you take it?" And he's like, "No," like immediately, like, "No, I wouldn't." And Zemo kind of goes about this like supremacist thing again, but then they bring up Sam's like, "What about Bucky?" And it doesn't really get answered because Bucky walks in the room. But it's interesting that, and then after. What were you saying?
I was gonna say that one scene also where Lamar and John Walker were like kind of like John asked him like, "Would you take the super serum?" And he was like, "Hells yeah!" And I'm like,
"Yeah, that's what I was just about to bring up." Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like the polar opposites of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, total opposites.
And then we see Karli call Sam's sister, which I was like,
"Oh my god."
Oh fuck, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I should kill your brother," which, wow. Sam's like, and then Sam's sister is like, he's not working for the other Captain America, like, and I love how she says, America doesn't see my way of life, so why should I care about its mascot? And again, it's been this whole thing throughout this thing of, is Captain America even needed or relevant anymore? Like, does it? Because Sam's always been like, I don't want it. It should be destroyed. But Bucky's kind of like, no, this stuff means something to people. Like, it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So it's this balancing act of like what is right and what is not. And pretty much, Karli says, "Hey, I'm going to give you some coordinates. You're going to give it to your brother because I know he'll listen to you and he'll take it seriously." And I was like, damn. And then obviously gets the call and it's immediately Sam meeting with Karli. And, pretty much saying like, "Oh, you called my sister." And Karli did bring up his nephews too, which also an extra slice of fucked up in there.
Yeah. Shit, dude.
Yeah. Like, and that kind of cemented her as like a legit threat. Like not like she wasn't, but she means fucking business and she'll do what needs to be done.
That's some no matter what. Up like what she did when she like called Sam's sister and threatened her and threatened his nephews. That's some straight up like mob boss shit, dude. That's some like, hey, if you don't do this, I'm gonna come and find your house and I'm gonna burn it down in the ground and your brothers and your shit. Like all that. That's some Soprano shit, dude. Like straight up. That's like, it was like,
for real.
Honestly, it's not that, and I don't think that anyone watching this show isn't going to think that Karli isn't badass. But in that scene in specific, that's where I kind of was like, okay, yeah, she actually is a legitimate threat. Like she is, and it's not that I didn't think she was before. Obviously, like, she's blowing up shit. She's doing her thing. She's anti all this, like, America shit, which is like, whatever. but I was like, I don't think she's gonna go full like mob boss, like hey, if you don't come here, we're gonna kill your family. None of that shit. I didn't think she was gonna do that. And then when she did, that kind of was just like, oh shit, like she really shouldn't be messed with, like honestly. But the exchange that they had on that balcony, though, still badass.
Good
stuff,
shit.
Though. Still good
very,
shit.
very cool. Pretty much saying like you're not hiding behind a shield. Killing you means nothing.
Right.
Saying like I want you to join me, or get out of my way. Pretty much. Yeah. Kind of what John Walker did in episode 2. Like, hey, let's join forces. It's like, well, stay the fuck out of my way. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally.
It crazy. Again, it's another thing. It's like two sides of being extreme. It's like John Walker and Karli. It's like the right and the left in real life, to the extreme.
100%. Yes.
And Sharon is tracking Walker for Sam and kind of gives him the lowdown on either Walker found them or they found Walker. And this obviously kind of solidifies that she's not the power broker. Obviously, she brings up earlier that the power broker is really pissed and that Madripoor is going to get real messy. We still don't know where she's like aligned with. I saw a really interesting theory that she could be an undercover agent for the CIA because she was like training to become the CIA or was in the CIA in Civil War or in Winter Soldier and Civil War. So like maybe she's like a double agent working undercover, which is possible. Or she's either working for the power broker. She still could be working for the power broker or working for, obviously she's like a higher up in Madripoor. You know what I mean?
Okay. Like, I had a theory that was very quickly debunked. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I thought a cool, I guess a twist would be if the power broker was Alexander Pierce.
Oh, how isn't he in jail now? I mean, I guess he could have gotten out. He died. Duh.
He died. That's why I said in like a twist of events, like, oh, he's not actually dead and he's the power broker. But I was like, I don't know if they're gonna do that, but like, who fucking knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a retcon all the time in things. So we'll I doubt that's gonna happen, but that would be like a really big like what in the fuck moment. You know what I mean? But
I think Zola would be a similar Zola would be a similar thing. You know what I mean? Because he's technically not even alive. He's just like an AI.
No.
You know.
No, 100%, and that's exactly what I'm like. That's like why I said like it would be such an extreme twist because it's just like the guy's not even alive. Like we saw him, like Nick Fury shot him, but like it would just be like I don't know. I like to go to like the most extreme theories. Like this would be so insane, but I know it's not gonna fucking happen. No way. Right. But that would still be really cool in my book.
That would be pretty wild, actually. It'd be a very crazy tie-in for sure.
Yeah, no,
full circle. Because pretty much look with everything that's happening. Like this is almost like it's almost like Captain America 4 in a way. This series, it's like a direct sequel to Civil War. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Infinity War and Endgame happened, and that very much affect the events of the show. But it's like a spiritual sequel to the Captain America trilogy, which is awesome. I love that's probably one of my favorite trilogies ever. So
100%. Like those 3 movies are 100%. Like every single one is a knockout out of the park, a home run, dude. Like every single one of them is so amazingly good. And I was even thinking, and I know that this is not going to happen either, but I was like, what if it's Red Skull is the power broker? And I'm like, no, he's like overseeing the Soul Stone. That's not going to happen.
Well, he's free now.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
No, but there's no way. No. It's not gonna be him. It's not gonna be him. But just imagine Hugo Weaving just coming out being the power broker.
Well, probably won't be Hugo Weaving because the last guy wasn't Hugo Weaving either.
No, I know.
In Infinity War and Endgame,
it was that guy from The Walking Dead. Yeah.
He did. Well, he did the voice, and they just CGI him to look the same.
Yes. Which whatever. But okay, so why wouldn't it be Hugo Weaving though? Is he only had that one film as a contract, or like just whatever?
Apparently, when they asked for him back for Infinity War, he wanted too much money and they were like, no, which I see it both ways because it's like he was in the movie for what, 2 minutes, if that,
not even
and
like 5 minutes
says a
max.
few lines. I think he wanted the same pay as he got in like Captain America, which obviously he was the main villain.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, but at the same time, they obviously could have afforded it. But I guess it's the principle of like a dude asking for the same pay rate for a literal fraction of the work. I don't know.
I don't know either, but like I thought that would be cool too. But again, it's probably not gonna fucking happen. I just love going to those extreme things.
All honesty, we talked about this last episode. I think the biggest options are either the Mandarin or something to do with the Mandarin, or it's someone we've never seen.
I'm almost betting money that the power broker is going to be somebody we've never met before, and that's totally fine too. That's totally fine too.
I don't care. Yeah, it's just fun to think of like, oh, who could it be? You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, no hurt in that. To me, no. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, I'm tired of theorizing after WandaVision, but that didn't. Like I've said before, that didn't deter me from anything. I don't care that I was wrong. I just love having those conversations of, oh, how could this have happened? Or, oh, what do you think is going to happen next? Like I'm here for the ride. I saw someone post that this show is extremely predictable, which
I did too.
Is crazy to me.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like
they tricked us in the trailers with thinking Zemo is the main villain of the show, which he isn't. Yeah. He could obviously have a villainous role in these last 2 episodes, of course, but the way we've seen his character is completely different than I thought we would ever see. Yeah, I never saw the Dora Milaje getting involved at all,
dude. Not only that,
I don't know.
Dude, this one guy who I'm friends with on Facebook. A friend of his posted like because my friend was posting about how John Walker's not his Captain America, that whole deal, and he was talking, and like this one guy commented it being on this guy's status being like, oh, that was the most predictable move that Marvel's ever done, and it's just like, what are you talking about, dude? Like a character that has flaws and is unhinged, like like every single character we've ever met kind of has that, but like what part of that was predictable? Like the part. I don't know. Well, I don't want to. We'll get there. Yeah. But the point is,
we're about to get there.
Is that predictable or not? This show is so good. I don't give a fuck if it's predictable or not. It's an action show. There's
I don't even think it's predictable, in my opinion.
Personally,
there's so much shit that I'm like, what? This is happening? What?
Right. Know? There have been so many things that have happened in these 4 episodes that definitely I didn't think was ever going to happen. I didn't think anybody from Wakanda was going to show up at all. Yeah. Like not at all. I did again, same thing with Zemo. I'm like, they're going to work with Zemo. This is fucking crazy. And dude, I don't know. Just people are just so annoying. So annoying.
And then this last sequence, they find John Walker. It's a huge, insane, epic fight sequence breaks out between all of them. Mm-hmm. They say they take Lamar and they tie him up. We see, Sam arrive, Bucky arrive. They're all fighting the Flag Smashers. But when they first discover John Walker, he kicks a motherfucker through a door, down a staircase, and then bends a pipe. So we're like, yep, he took the fucking serum.
Oh, he took for sure did. Yeah.
Motherfucker's juiced up as fuck now.
Oh, yes.
They hinted it, which I didn't quite get it until after, but when he throws the shield and it gets fucking wedged hardcore in the wall, I was like, oh, okay. But then after I realized, I was like, oh, he threw that shit way too hard. That's why I got stuck in the wall like that. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. I get it. And they're fighting, awesome fighting sequence. I love how Sam uses his wings and jetpack and close combat and shit. It was fucking awesome.
Yes.
Lamar gets free. Karli is chasing towards John. Lamar saves him, tackles Karli, and then Karli punches Lamar into a pillar, and he is fucking dead. And when he first hit that, when he first hit, my jaw dropped. I was like, he's dead. Mm-hmm. I can't believe they killed him. I can't believe he's dead. Holy fuck.
Yeah, that was literally on impact. Boom. I'm like, yep, he's totally dead. Like he totally, like his brain on the inside is
snapped his neck.
Right now. Yeah. Like so bad. Like he is dead for sure.
And even this, I did not think he was going to die. You know what I mean? Like,
I had a feeling somebody in the show, in the main cast of characters, one of them was going to die. I knew one of them was. Which one, I did not know. It had to be Lamar, which is, unfortunate, but there we go. There's the one.
Obviously, John fucking snaps. And I alluded this in the last episode that I thought he was going to end up going on like a fucking murdering rampage, which he did. But again, I did not see him going like this. He chases after Nico, which is very ironic because Nico said, I used to look up to Captain America when I was a kid, and now Captain America is chasing him down in a fucking murderous rampage and fucking smashes him by throwing the shield at him. And then he holds the shield up just like Steve did to Tony in Civil War. But the difference is Steve didn't kill Tony. He just deactivated his suit. But John Walker kills this motherfucker in cold fucking blood. I know a lot of people are like, he was a terrorist, blah, blah, blah. But he was he was running away. Away. Did not fight back. He killed him in cold blood in the street. Everyone is watching.
And people were recording.
Yep. Everyone is just in shock. Karli's in shock. Bucky and Sam are in shock. And then it pans out to this scene, which I never in my life thought that Marvel on Disney Plus would show a Captain America holding a shield covered in blood.
Yeah.
I did not. I was like, holy fuck. I cannot believe that they showed that. Because it's Disney, dude. Like,
I agree.
I was like, what the fuck? Obviously. And it's like so many people.
Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
No, I just saying, like, obviously, this is an image that everyone's been reacting to. It's burned in everyone's head. This is going to be one of the most memorable moments, like, for the next 10 years in comic book, like, content. You know what I mean? Like, this is fucking crazy. It's so funny because Sam goes, fuck you, DC, because, like, the Snyder Cut was obviously, like, a hard R, super crazy, bloody movie. I have nothing against DC. She loves Wonder Woman and stuff like that. But it was just funny. She was like, take that, motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah, right. No, dude, when this being the last shot that we saw in the episode, Bloody Shield, I had a mix of reactions. One being, that's badass. Two, holy fuck. I don't know what to think. And also just pure anger because fuck John Walker, duh. But like literally, as I had mentioned in previous episodes, that this is the most violent Marvel content we have gotten. This shot alone is, I want to say, the most blood we've seen in Marvel. I could be wrong.
100%.
Well, the last episode of the show had a lot of blood in it too, but this one was like seeing that bloody shield was like almost kind of like, I want to say, haunting a little bit. It's kind of like, it's, as you said, it's going to be burned into people's brains. Like, that's some scary shit. Like, when kids watch this, can you imagine what their parents might think? Because when we mentioned before that we didn't see ratings for the show. On the last episode, I went to see if there was a rating. It's rated TV-14 for language and violence. So I was like, okay, well, violence can mean a lot of things. You know, obviously we see a lot of gunshots. There's people punching each other. There's spears being thrown. There's whatever. This time, Captain America bashed some dude's head in and left his bloodied brains all over the shield. Like, that is pretty like, you know, that's pretty up there when it comes to the violence and the gore. Like, even though that's not a lot of it, like, it's still just kind of like, yo, for Disney Plus, as you said, for Disney Plus, for Marvel, like, this is like, holy shit. But like, I think that I think we mentioned that because it's a streaming service, they can probably get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think they could have gone away with it in the movies, but I think with the series, everybody kind of already knew that this was going to be a little bit more grittier and a little bit more violent than what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think going forward, Marvel's gonna maybe step it up in the violence game a little bit because they're realizing the demographic is getting older, so they can get a little bit older with the you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like in Endgame, when Hawkeye's Ronin, he like slits that dude's throat, and you kind of see blood like drip.
Oh, and dude,
he like wipes blood off. He wipes blood off the blade and shit like that.
Right, absolutely. And then
so they pushed it to. Yeah. They definitely pushed it to like they could, so it wouldn't. So it was. Oh yeah, for sure.
But I mean, to your point too, we were talking about last episode how a lot of times Marvel does cutaways, so you don't see it. That that's what they did in this last shot. When John Walker was bashing the shield, like you didn't actually see him bashing the dude's head in. It was just a bunch of cutaway scenes, but you knew what the guy was doing.
Yeah. It's crazy, the shot with him like over him. You see his like terrified face, and then the shield covers the shot. It's like just so well done. I'm not like a super nerd when cinematography. I'm just like, that looks cool because I know nothing about it personally, like the art of doing it. When like a shot's cool, I'm like, oh, that's really cool detail that they put in there. And this show has had a lot of it for sure.
Yeah.
But this whole thing and that meme I was talking about earlier about how saying Steve Rogers was the ideals, like the perfect idea of America, and John Walker like is the perfect representation of America, especially current America. It actually came from a couple screenshots of two people saying like, "Oh man, this is fuck yeah, America. He killed someone," and then another person saying, "This is the only interesting character in the show. More brutality." And I'm like. And I was talking to my friend about this before I saw that post saying like, this is going to do exactly what politics do today, because some people are going to love this shit because they're like, oh, fuck yeah, America. And then the other people are going to be like, wow, this is him being like America is now. And it's fucked up. There's going to be the two sides of the coin. And obviously Marvel is like, their fan base is massive, like everyone fucking watch, not everyone, but a majority of people watch Marvel, like this is the biggest 100%. Show in America right now, probably the biggest show in the world right now. And
probably,
so there's going to be those two sides. There's going to be different views to it. And
100%.
Like the people on the right are be like, fuck yeah, America, this dude's fucking killing people for America. Hell yeah. And then we're like, damn, fuck this fucking guy. He just killed a fucking dude in cold blood. Yeah. He was running away.
Yeah.
And he just fucking killed him.
Dude. I mean, it's definitely true, dude. Like, I saw a post on one of the Marvel groups that I'm it was after the second in the street getting stopped by the cops. I think that was in episode 2, right?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So after that episode to come out, I saw some guy on one of the Marvel groups I'm in. He was like, "Man, I really wish Marvel wouldn't like, talk about stuff like that because I watch Marvel movies and watch Marvel content to escape the world. Why do I have to be reminded of the real shit that's going on?" And it's just like, dude. Okay, first off, I understand that yes, Marvel is an escape. All these superhero content is an escape. Star Wars, whatever. Every pop culture thing is an escape. But there's also a real world aspect to the Marvel movies because, well, while they are not necessarily in our universe, it is on Earth in the present times that we're living in. Sort of. It's a couple years in the future. That doesn't mean that racism doesn't exist in Marvel. That it doesn't mean politics doesn't exist in Marvel. It doesn't mean that whatever is going on in our world now doesn't exist in their world. Of course, that shit's going to exist, and it needs to be it needs to have light shine because there are problems in the world going on right now, and people are going to have their commentary on it. And this is the way that the showrunners have decided to put their stamp on the commentary of the world. And I think that it's totally justified. I think it's totally justified. And all these people that are just trying to essentially turn a blind eye to the problems that we have in the world. I mean, that we're all, and it's like you said, there's always going to be the two sides to every situation. Oh, well, you know, fuck yeah, Captain America for killing that dude, and then fuck Captain America for killing that dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's we're always gonna have that, no matter what happens. Like, you can never please anybody. There's always gonna be those shit talkers. So, yeah.
Oh, true, but all of this stuff is based in political in real life situation. Like, even the comics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you ever, do you know what the X-Men are about? like even Star Wars, it's the rebels fighting fucking a fascist group.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Like I know. It's like, yeah, keep the politics out of the stuff that's based on politics, right?
Yeah, right. No. Some people just don't realize what they're watching and what the real meaning is behind it. Like, and it's pretty hilarious that grown adults are like, oh my God, keep politics out of such and such. Dude, you're watching a movie called Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's like, why are they called the Rebel Alliance? Think about it. Why are stormtroopers called stormtroopers? Let's be real here, people. People just need to anyways, okay, I'm done. Shut the fuck up, Billy.
Just like the Empire, the First Order.
Dude, the First Order is the most World War II type name I've ever heard. Ever.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say to that.
You know, so, I mean, obviously there's going to be people like that, but that's just how it is. I don't know. Like, I feel like if you totally ignore things that are going on, like, it just takes the stakes and like the relatability and the realness out of things. Like, obviously,
it takes out of it.
This is a world full of gods and sorcerers and aliens and shit like that. But
yeah, exactly.
You know, the reason why we love it so much is because it sucks us in emotionally because we relate to these characters. Like, that's the whole fucking point. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you take away the real world aspects of these shows, then there's no stakes involved. Essentially.
Exactly.
If there were no racist cops in the show, if there was no, you know, Sam getting denied that bank loan because he is a black man in America, it's like, well, what the world is perfect and everybody can live in harmony and peace. That's not real. That's not fucking real either. You know what I mean? Like, there's no what's the word? Utopia? There's none of that. There's none of that. This is real fucking life, and shit's fucked a lot of times.
Yeah.
And this show is highlighting what is fucked up. And it needs to be, because the world is not unicorns and rainbows and flowers and shit like that. While we all want it to be peace, harmony, love, whatever the fuck, we all want that stuff. We all want to take care of each other. We all want harmony and all that type of stuff. But in reality, the reality that we live in and the reality that Bucky and Sam and all these people in the Marvel universe are living in, it's not harmonious. It's fucked up. It's chaos. It's so much shit, dude. And if you take all of that stuff out and you make the world a perfect world, well, then we wouldn't have the MCU. We wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have anything to connect to and relate to. Everything would just be 100%. Boring as shit, you know?
Yep. That's completely correct.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
That was a good little rant, even though we didn't need to do that. We just should be called metalcore rants, you know?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, yes. That's an accurate description, actually.
But going back to the last scene though, that scene was pretty jaw-dropping at the same time. Like, literally,
dude, my jaw was on the floor since when Lamar hit that pillar. Jaw was just on the floor because I was like, man, this shit's gonna get fucked, and it did.
like I didn't think that we would see this like this scene happen like in this episode. I was thinking maybe in the next in like season
or like
like
near the end,
number,
yeah.
like yeah, at least near the end. But at the same time, I thought about it and I go, well, at least now we have essentially US agent. I'm sorry, US agent is now a thing. Like now he is. This is who he is. He's no longer Captain fucking America. This is US agent. Okay, so now, now we have the real villain of the show. That's this fucking guy. So who knows what's gonna happen within the next 2 episodes? But I think going forward, the Flag Smashers are gonna be they're still gonna be a powerful force, and they're still gonna be like a threat, so to speak. But I honestly think now it's going to be all eyes on John Walker.
Yeah, for sure. I think Sam and Bucky are going to team up with the Flag Smashers.
Oh, that's exactly what I was about to say later on. But no, they for sure are now. They for sure are now. I think Zemo, the Wakandans, and the Flag Smashers are all going to team up against John Walker. I really think so. I would not be surprised, but I also am not expecting that. But like, and again, the reason why I think this show is the most popular show in the world right now is because you're seeing such an unlikely dynamic of people in all walks of life coming together and teaming up. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think this is gonna be probably, I don't know. I know it's very early to say this, but this is probably gonna be my favorite show of this year. We'll see. It's
definitely up there. I got to see how it ends because I really don't know how it's going to end. To be honest,
I don't know either. And I don't. However, it's going to end, whatever, you know. But I think we'll see what happens after Loki comes out too, because I think Loki is going to be a good show. But right now, this show, where we're at in this show, I'm just. Fuck, man. I'm really hoping these next 2 episodes my Disney Plus doesn't crash, because that's probably what's going to happen. Because now, because now the shit's ramping up, you know.
True. Yeah, an important announcement for the podcast. There's 2 episodes left, but next week, I will be on vacation with my wife. So there will be no episode next week.
That's right.
But we'll be doing a mega episode 5 and 6 episode after the series finale. So we're going to do it's probably be like 2 hours long, maybe longer. So we'll have to buckle in for that one.
Strap in.
Maybe we'll do it live. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. That would be fun.
We'll have some people ask some questions during and stuff like that. That could be cool. I'll think about it. That would be really cool. If you want to see it live, tag me on social media, tag Billy on social media, comment on the video, you know.
Tag Sebastian and Anthony Mackie. Let him watch let him watch it too.
Let him know. Hell fucking yeah. So again, you know, thank you everyone for checking out this episode. You know, if you're new, subscribe wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're coming back, I love you. Thanks for hitting me up. My friend, he was an avid listener in the beginning, but he also works from home. So it's he works from home now. So it's kind of hard for him to listen to a lot of podcasts because he's just at home all the time and doesn't really drive anywhere or anything like that. My best friend, John, he was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. Shout out to that guy. But he listened to last week's episode. And it's the first time he listened to the podcast in a long time. And he's like, dude, this podcast is really fucking good. And when I have my friends tell me that, it means a lot to me, you know? And, you know, it's not like a ton of people, like it's not like thousands of people are listening to this podcast, which is fine with me. I do it for fun. I really love doing it. But when I have people reaching out to me like, yo, I love this podcast. It's like one of my favorite podcasts. I'm like, dude, that's crazy to me. You know, like,
is he a part of the metalcore scene at all?
Yes. He used to be in this band called Meth Mouth. Okay. They're from upstate New York, but now he's married and has dogs, and he's in the group though. He'll post in the group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But shout out to John, or as he's known on Facebook, Cliff. But hell yeah, man. So I'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll wrap this shit up.
All right, dude. Sounds good.
Finish it out. We'll see who's Captain America at the end of this. Obviously not going to be John Walker. Not after this week.
Not after this week. Not ever.
America, no more.
Yeah, for real.
Awesome. Again, thanks everyone, and see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.